I want him to start thinking, maybe with this guy, I need to think about how I behave. Don't be rude. If you were my kid, and in the middle of me having a conversation with her, he's like, ice cream, grabs my hand and pulls me. It's like, excuse me, I'm talking with an adult. Show some manners. But here's the thing about rules and manners. A dog doesn't know what's rude and what's not rude, just like as kids, we don't know what's rude and what's not rude unless we're taught. Now, this is my belief. If you have a dog that walks great with you, who cares what you walk your dog on? However, if you have a dog that pulls, there are some things that can make it easier for us to communicate with the dog. This is one of the safest collars on the market when you're dealing with a massive leash puller. I'm not gonna rely on food, but if it can help to make the process easier, like, why wouldn't I use it? The whole, like, I hate to like be vulgar with this, the whole like food is for pussies like mindset, like you guys, people gotta get rid of that, you know what I mean? Let's go ahead and because again, we're not sure what we're gonna be able to see later on. Let's see what a walk just down to the fence and back looks like. And then Mom, I'm just gonna have you come over here, Mom. So this tells us a little bit about the attachment, which to some extent is a little bit normal, like that happens, but our ability to be able to help to get a dog over something versus like, this is where they are. Once Mom leaves or once Mom goes into Starbucks or once Mom does this, and it might even be vice versa too. You feel comfortable handling the dog? Let's go ahead and see you walk down and back, and then we're gonna have Dad come over, okay? Okay. This guy is actually far more sensitive than people and you guys think he is. Pressure's gonna go on here, yes. And what I'm trying to do here is I'm not trying to correct and pop. Because he happens to be soft, I would compare this to the difference in, I used to have a Jeep Wrangler, and if you floored my Jeep Wrangler, you couldn't even squeal the tires out if you wanted to. Now I have a faster car, but let's assume that I had a Porsche. All you gotta do is tap the gas on that and you might, right? This is like driving a Porsche. So you wanna understand how to be sensitive. What I'm gonna look to do is eventually, I'm gonna look to be more specific. But right now, a little bit of yes, good job. And I want to associate coming to pressure or coming off of pressure with good things. My body is associated with this entire process. The moment that I remove my body, watch how difficult it is for him to go on this side of me. You see it? So your body needs to be a part of the equation to help the dog. I'm not saying a dog shouldn't be able to do that, but I'm trying to be considerate of where the dog is. Watch how easy it is for the dog to get on that side of my body when I actually move with him. You see it? I come over here when I actually move with him to get him behind. When I actually move with him to come this way. Does that make sense? You're gonna say his name, let's go, use the leash and go toward that. Pressure off, good. You can feed that if you want. And you can totally good and feed, and you have a dog that's checking in with you. That's a beautiful thing. Now, the question that I have to ask her, what do you think, and obviously you know the answer, what do you think you're being softer with, this or what you were doing previously?
This is easy.
It's, I mean, that really,
was this morning.
yeah. Good. Now what I would say is like, does the dog look shut down? No, the dog is happy. Dog is checking in. For the first time in a while, it actually looks like the dog is almost like saying like, thank you. Like this makes sense. Let's go for a walk together. Now the one thing that you have to be mindful of, you want to give it a try? Yeah, go for it, man. Oh, she's like, no. We're gonna enjoy this. When you have a dog that is going to pull, kind of no matter what, you end up with a dog that on a flat collar, you actually can damage trachea and the larynx. On a martingale and even on a slip lead, when a dog is gonna pull, we're not doing the ones pulling, they're gonna do it. There's nothing we can do to control that. If they're gonna pull on something, I'd rather them pull on something that is safe. Now, although the prong collar looks scary, this is the reality. It has so many contact points that the weight of the dog, 100 pounds, is evenly distributed around the neck. So it's not so much weight that is just focused in one area, right? So it's actually not a choke. In fact, I have a video on YouTube, maybe you might have seen it, it's an old one, where on my neck is a prong collar and my trainer is actually holding me as I'm hanging and I'm speaking to the camera to prove the point that like it is damn near impossible to choke a dog or puncture a dog with the prong collar. If you were to actually puncture a dog, I don't even know if it's possible to puncture. You would have to actually be abusive. Like I'd have to throw a leash over and hang a dog up, and even then, I don't know if they would choke. Like they wouldn't be asphyxiated. It wouldn't happen, right? So it's just something to consider. If you see a bed of nails, and someone lays on a bed of nails, and people are like, "Oh my gosh, like it didn't pierce them." It's not magic. It's just there's so many nails that the individual's weight, regardless of if it's 160 pounds or what do you weigh? You're a tall, big guy. Or it's 240 or like you or something, you guys would still be able to lay on it without it puncturing you because all the weight is evenly distributed. Now, if you start taking out some of the nails little by little, more and more pressure, more and more weight is relying on the actual nail, right? And we're talking about nails. Here, the prong collars are not sharp. They're actually rounded. They're not nails. And what Herm Sprenger did about 5 or 6 years ago is they put a clasp in the middle on the bottom, which allows the contact points to actually go this way instead of all in one direction. So it literally evenly distributes the weight, and it's actually more humane than other collars around your neck than people think it. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's just the reality. So the fact that people are so against these tools, it actually shows either they just don't know, they're basing it off of aesthetics, or they know and they're lying and they're just like, you know what I mean? So really interesting stuff.